today.
Wasn't it great, Cayman?
Oh, what a compliment. For that, I thank you.
What is happening now? There are hopeless and
Now it's time for us to stand up for God or we fall to nothing.
It's time now for Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Listening to the general public, what the public is saying.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today. Catherine Tyson. I'm sitting in for Sterling this afternoon. Hope you're having a wonderful afternoon. The weather is perfect as usual. That's Cayman for you. Well, we have a great show. Please stay tuned. We'll be back with more Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Live Communication.
Let your voice be heard.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. Catherine Tyson, I'm sitting in for Sterling this afternoon. And yeah, back in the Talk Today driver's seat. Isn't that awesome? And I'm able to look at Susan. I love that. That's just like, yeah, I can't tell you, Susan. It's such a pleasure to work with you, really. People don't hear you, but in the studio, if they could see all that work going on ahead of me, and she's driving the car, actually. She's telling me what to do. She's doing all that good stuff. So it's always great to be here. Hope you're having a great afternoon. It's a beautiful day, of course. We're in Cayman. And, you know, I know you're chugging along back to work. We had that wonderful holiday Monday, a Remembrance Day, and a 4-day week. So we're getting close to the weekend. You know, us people that reside in paradise, we do love the weekends because we get to enjoy the paradise that people vacation and we call it home. So looking forward to that. If you have any thoughts, of course, I'd love to hear from you today. 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp us on 925-3261 or email at talktoday@candw.ky. Well, great show, as I said when we started, that, you know, we're going to have today. Already in the studio with me, I have some guests, which is great because that means I get to talk to people about some good stuff that's happening out there. So today we have in the studio with us from the Civil Service Association, we have the president, Mr. John Bothwell, and the secretary, Zita Mae Bodden. Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today.
Afternoon. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you all for coming. You know, to this association that affects all of us. I think. I mean, I was a civil servant for a long time, so I know how beneficiary it is, or beneficial, I should say, to all of us civil servants, and just what it provides for the community. It's the Cayman Islands Civil Service Association. Talk to us a little bit about that, because everybody knows about the credit union. You know, we know it's there. We know that you go there and you can save money and you can get money and get loans and all that. But let's talk a little bit more about just what it is and what's going on and why you're here today.
Sure. So the Civil Service Association is more the social and employee relations side of things. The credit union grew out of the Civil Service Association many years ago and is now its own freestanding entity. The Civil Service Association, of course, is still going, and our role is to speak for our members, to work with the government to improve government policies, particularly regarding things like employee issues, for the betterment of our members. As I said, to represent them, but also to give, to do what we can to make things better for them, provide avenues for members to coordinate with each other, network with each other, and by strengthening and empowering them, we can speak better for them towards government, saying we need X, Y, Z done. Here's why it's going to make everything better for everybody, including our employer.
Okay. Now, you're president of the association itself,
yes.
right? And so how many members, like how many people are on is it like a board then? So you would be the president of the board. So how many people are on that?
Yeah. So we have a management council that it varies from about 10 to 15 people depending on who gets nominated and elected to it. And that's actually what we're having tomorrow evening is our annual general meeting for all members to come out. It's at the Georgetown Town Hall, so a short walk over from the Gab. It's starting at 5:30. We're actually going to have a sort of a social period from 5 to 5:30 for those members who get there early. As I said, it's a good time to network with people. And then as part of the AGM, we will be nominating and electing the board, the management council, which is the president, whoever they want to lead them, myself or whoever, as well as the directors who will be on there. And they are the people who, throughout the year, on behalf of our members, deal with issues like when there's complaints about how people are being treated, or when we're trying to arrange PR for the association so members know what's going on, various things like that. Looking at government policy is obviously a big one. When there are things coming up that affect our members, we take a look at it, work with our membership to see what do they think about this idea, and then bring that back to government in a structured way.
Okay. So how many directors then? Because it's a president, then it's obviously a vice president.
We're nominating about 6 directors this year for people to vote in. But yes, so there's a president, 2 vice presidents, 2 treasurers, a secretary, who is Masita, as well as then about half a dozen directors at large. Okay. We do 2 vice presidents, 2 treasurers, because it allows us then to overlap them by a year. So there's some continuity from board to board. Okay. Like many, well, we like to think good, well-functioning committees, we change slowly, but every year there's a few people say this is it, they've done their time, and come off, and we get some new people coming on.
Okay.
So there is a natural continuity, but it's also built into the system as well. And that's why we're encouraging members to come out tomorrow evening, Georgetown Town Hall, starting sharply at 5:30 for our annual general meeting to choose who they want to be the directors and the management council of the association, who are the people they want to work for them this year.
Right. Now, how long have you been president?
I've been president for 3 years now.
Okay.
So if I get voted again this year, this will be my 4th year. It'll be my last year on it as president.
Because it's only 4 years? Is that?
Yeah, because again, we try to build in a certain amount of rollover.
Okay.
Because it keeps everything fresh. The association is built on its members, and so we want to make sure that we pull new members up and into positions of responsibility within the association.
Okay. Another question I was just thinking about while you were speaking. In this meeting that we're talking about, the AGM, which is the annual general meeting, do you already know who you're going to be nominating, or is that a fresh opportunity when people come to the meeting to say that they want to nominate someone, or do you already have an idea?
People can walk in the door and say, I nominate Bob. Okay. We have a slate that we put forward because we don't want to get there and go, okay, who wants the job? And kind of look around and everybody be silent.
Right.
We have a slate.
That's usually what happens at PTAs.
There you go. We've learned from other people's systems.
Yeah.
We have a slate that we're going to be putting forward. We present to the members. They can nominate any other member that they want, basically.
Okay.
Nominate themselves if they can get someone to second them, kind of thing. And it's up to the members there at the time to vote and who they choose, just like any other sort of democratic organization.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how many people generally attend this meeting?
I wouldn't even want to put a number. It varies a lot. Mazita, how many do you think we would normally get?
Well, from year to year, it's different, and it depends on whether we are doing an AGM or a GM meeting. Sometimes, you can have 50, 60 people. Sometimes you could have over 100. Sometimes 30.
Okay. So the difference between an AGM and a GM is what then?
Really just the business that's taken care of. So the annual general meeting, like with most organizations, that's when you sort of do the recap of the year, elect your board for the next year, or management council for next year is the big thing. We then, at the start of first part of next year, we'll have a general business meeting, which is where we would present a budget and sort of work plan for the year. So the council gets elected now spends a couple of months figuring out what they're going to do in 2019.
Okay.
And move on to that. We sometimes we'll do budgets. We were actually able to do our 2017 budget in the 2018 business meeting at the start of the year. 2018 budget, accounts be presented, 2019 business meeting.
Okay.
So it's really basically as general meetings, depending on what work has to be handled.
Okay.
And we're trying to the Georgetown Town Hall this year, tomorrow evening at 5:30, against a central location. We're hoping that'll work for people. It's a chance to stretch your legs a bit, get out of the gap, but still be close enough to town that everybody who's here can come out easily. Any civil servants coming in from the outlying districts, like I work in the other side of Georgetown, we can all just park in the gap parking lot, walk over, and so no problem with parking, getting to the Georgetown Town Hall tomorrow night, 5:30 p.m.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back, and will you stay with me to continue the chat?
Happy to. Thank you.
All right. So we'll be back with more Talk Today. Stay tuned.
Okay, settle down. There's someone I want to thank. This guy knows how to get the most out of every fill-up. This guy had the common sense to drive into Esso so I could get back on the road. $5,000 richer. Thanks to me. Thank you so much, me. Thank you. Yes.
Spend $25 at any Esso service station and get a chance to win in weekly draws for $5,000 cash. Every week for 5 weeks, we'll be choosing a winner. You can also get a chance to win free fuel and prizes at our weekly Spin and Win events. That's $30,000 in cash and prizes to be won. Drive into an Esso station today. You'll thank yourself. The Esso brand is a trademark of Exxon Mobil Corporation and is used under license.
South Coast Bar and Grill up in Breakers, man, that is the place. For traditional Cayman cuisine, oh, you will love the taste. At South Coast Bar and Grill, we got conch and lobster and turtle stew. And every Sunday, come out with your family for the barbecue.
South Coast Bar and Grill by the seaside, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, lunch and dinner. Call us at 947-2517.
For Cayman and cuisine, the talk today is South Coast Bar and Grill.
Did you know that in the event of a hurricane, water designated for the purposes of drinking, cooking, and bathing must be disinfected before use? Water may be disinfected either by boiling or through the use of chlorine bleach. To disinfect through boiling, simply leave the water on the fire for 1 minute after it begins to boil. To disinfect with bleach, add 3 ounces of chlorine bleach to every 1,000 gallons of water. If you are not able to smell the bleach in the water after 30 minutes, then add half of the amount of bleach that was added during the initial application. Recheck the water after 15 minutes to ensure that there is a residual bleach smell. A residual bleach smell is an indicator that the water has been properly disinfected. For more post-hurricane safety tips, visit DEH website at deh.gov.ky.
Cayman's cruise industry must be preserved and developed. It is a myth that the cruise lines will continue to call on Cayman at the rate they do now without the piers. It is a fact that the mega-class ships will not be tendered. Arrivals will decline by half over time as the older ships are decommissioned. This will hurt our economy and thousands of Caymanians who work in this industry. If we want to continue providing opportunities for Caymanians, we need the piers. Support the piers. Support our tourism.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. Catherine Tyson, I'm sitting in for Sterling this afternoon. And, just like to let you know who you're listening to, because if we turn on the radio, we want to hear Sterling, right? So it's, who's that? Who's talking? Someone told me I was on Talk Today, I think 2 weeks ago. I said, no, I haven't been there for over a year. Oh, you were on there. I said, no, it wasn't me. It was someone else, I guess. Someone out there has my voice or I have her voice. That's what's going on. But, that's how it is. We are here chatting with the Civil Service Association, and that's Cayman Islands Civil Service Association. We know it as CICSA, and we're chatting with the president, John Bothwell, and the secretary, Ms. Zita Mae Bodden. And so we're back chatting with them. If you had any questions or you want to weigh in, in the conversation, 1-800-534-8255. Would love to hear from you because this is your association.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Right.
Yes, it is.
And I know that's definitely just being a civil servant. It is such a great, I think, just a great service that's provided for us. And I think one part of it that I really remembered mostly, and I'm still a member, obviously. I think I was a member before I started working because my mom worked for government. And I think you can recommend, like family members or something.
Yeah, that's over the credit union is like that. Yes, it's got to be associated with it. For the Civil Service Association, you need to be a public servant, merely a civil servant. We have some members from some of the authorities and government companies, and they can join us. But because of how the various laws are written, it's the civil servants that we can represent the most. We're actually in the Public Service and Management Law as the body that represents civil servants, or we represent our members.
Okay.
And as we say, so that's why being a member is so important to be part of this organization if you're a civil servant, because it is one of the best ways to make your voice heard. You speak through the association, you speak with the weight and the numbers of the association behind you, and that gets taken straight up to the POCS or the Deputy Governor. And equally, when particularly POCS is looking at procedures and rule changes and things like that, they will bring questions back to the association and say, listen, this is just something we're looking at non-judgmentally, shall we say. What do you and your members think about this? And so our members can serve as a sounding board for, again, looking for ways to improve the civil service, because that's in everyone's best interest, is how to make the civil service work better. We can be really proud here in Cayman that we have a civil service that is a good employer. We often get caught up arguing in society about why certain jobs are the way they are and stuff, and a lot of it comes down to how good an employer you have. And you can tell how good they are by the number of Caymanians working there in the civil service. That's the majority. For our membership, it doesn't matter if you're Caymanian or not. You're a civil servant. You are represented.
Right.
And what we'll probably tell them right at the very start of the meeting tomorrow is, when you hear us talking about Caymanians in the Civil Service Association, we mean all of our members, because everybody in that association is working for the betterment of Cayman. What benefits one of us is benefiting all of us, and because we are so heavily Caymanian, it becomes a shorthand for us. But really, we are representing all of our members equally whenever anything comes up.
So, in other words, then you are the representing body for any civil servant in this country.
Yes, this is where it gets fun and grey.
Right.
We speak for the civil service, but obviously we are a membership organization, so it is our members who tell us what to say.
Okay.
If you're a civil servant who is not a member of the association, it's harder to get your voice heard, quite simply.
Okay.
Because we are representing, it's a membership organization. If our members say, we think X, that's what the association says.
Okay.
And if those persons, civil servants, who aren't part of our association, they can sometimes get left out of those conversations, which is why it's very important that they join us to be part of what's going on. Also, when it comes to representation, we have a committee that works when individual members have grievances within their agencies. We can step in and try to work with that agency, again, as looking for what's best for everybody to try and resolve some of those sort of personnel issues. The Civil Service Association is staffed by volunteer members, and so we act for members. When you call us up and you're not a member, we can't help you.
Okay.
That's just how it's structured.
Okay.
So membership really does have its benefits and privileges as being part of the association.
So then I have another question then.
Yes.
How many civil servants do we have in the Cayman Islands, in the civil service?
We have over 3,000 in government employees.
Okay.
And we have over 1,800 in our association.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. So I wanted to do the comparison then of how many actual civil servants we have and how many are members. And because what you just said then, made me think of that.
Yes. No.
So we have 1,800 that are actually members. And so it would be in everyone's best interest to be a member.
Absolutely.
Of the Civil Service Association.
Okay. Exactly. Okay. We'd love to have every civil servant join us. Now, we know it's, no one ever hits 100%. We've got a really good number. Over half of people are part of us now, and so it is easy sort of sometimes people to say, well, I don't need to join because you guys will still get it right. You're doing this work anyway. But really, it is our strength is in those numbers. Not just when we come up and say, listen, we represent over half of the civil service, so you need to listen to us. But also when we are looking to our membership for what are they thinking. There is a certain wisdom in the masses, if you will,
right.
And getting that feeling of people of what is it that they want, what's important to them, what are the issues, and it's not just that many heads give you the best ideas. It is getting that feeling for what is really going to affect people or not,
right?
Because the civil service is so incredibly broad and diverse. We are a cross section of the Cayman Islands. You couldn't get a better cross-section unless you did a lot of work at it.
Yeah.
But that means we have to represent everybody. And so changes that may look acceptable to certain groups when it's sort of being tossed around in a small room, once we take it to our members, then we have groups in their membership saying, listen, that's not really going to work because. And everybody kind of goes, oh, you're absolutely right. We should have realized that. But by having those numbers in our membership, we can help with that. We can help to make sure when we're looking at a policy ideas ahead of time that they work as well as possible for everybody.
Yeah. Well, when you just said the example of you have to listen to me, I thought of it in the actual opposite. I thought to be a member of the Civil Service Association means that there's someone listening to me.
That too. Because
right?
Yes.
There's someone advocating for me.
Yes, and that's a big point of the annual general meeting tomorrow evening at 5:30 at the Georgetown Town Hall. Members get to come out and say, you all listen to me because we're putting you in as a management council to represent us now.
Yeah.
And this is really their chance to pick the people who they want to speak for them on their behalf over the next year.
Yeah. I mean, I think in any group situation, right, you have to make decisions for the better good of the entire group. Mm-hmm. So it might not be that what you're needing right this moment is going to happen, but whatever does happen is going to also benefit you in a positive way.
Absolutely,
right?
Yes.
So that to me is that's kind of a need for understanding of that, and a lot of people kind of struggle with that. But we have to think of it on that.
We have to think of it, and the only way to get that understanding is to have everybody at the table, which is why it's so important that we have as many civil servants as possible part of our association. So we're encouraging anybody who's not, please drop us an email, cicsa@gov.ky. We're very happy to talk you through how to become a member. It's pretty easy. Or come out tomorrow evening to the AGM, 5:30 at the Town Hall, find out what's going on, see who these people are, what we're talking about, and talk to us about how to become a member then.
So, I mean, just quickly, what does it take to become a member? How easy is it then? What is it that they have to do?
Just filling out one application form.
Okay.
And it's just one page.
Uh-huh.
Your name, date of birth.
Okay.
What department you work in, your email address. Sign it.
All right. And is there a fee monthly?
It's $5 per month.
That's what I thought. I remember that. Yeah.
$5 per month. And we also have retirees. So if you were a civil servant and you want to also remain as a association member, you pay $12 for the year.
Oh, okay.
So it's $1 per month.
Okay. All right. So, and that comes out of your, I think it comes out of your pay.
Yeah. If you're a civil servant, it can be deducted. You don't even notice it. You just know you're part of the association, and we're there working for you. and you come to the AGM tomorrow night and make sure that we work for you.
It's less than one lunch, maybe, because lunch isn't even $5 these days for the month.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think, it's in everyone's best interest to be a part of that. I wanted to ask you a couple of more things, details obviously about the meeting. We did talk about that just so the listening public can know exactly where, when, and all of that.
It is tomorrow, Thursday, the 15th of November. And it's at the Georgetown Town Hall, which is right next to the town clock and by the LA building and the library. And at 5 o'clock, we're going to have like a social time. So you mingle and meet and greet each other. And 5:30 sharp is when our meeting starts. And we plan not to go beyond 7:30.
Okay. All right. So that's tomorrow. That's Thursday at the Georgetown Hall.
Hall.
Yeah, the Georgetown Town Hall,
right.
Which is right next to the library.
Yeah. Right
and
there
across from the courthouse next to the LA.
Yeah. Right by the town clock.
Easy to find.
By the town clock. Exactly. Very easy to find. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and wrap up the conversation. If you have any questions or you'd like to, give some thoughts or something, 1-800-534-8255, and we'll be back with more Talk Today. Stay tuned.
There's an old-time cultural gender-neutral saying that goes like this: once a man, twice a child. Children and the elderly are our more vulnerable citizens. They depend on the strong to get through the day. Child abuse and elderly abuse is never okay. You were once a child, and one day you too will hopefully become an elderly person. Stop the slap. Stop the cycle. Stop the violence.
The Stop the Slap campaign has been proudly sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Stop the slap. Stop the cycle. Stop the violence.
It's more than what we do. It's who we are. We were your official bank of the quincentennial celebrations in 2003. We were your Bank of the Year 4 times. We were voted as the inaugural top employer in 2010. We were the inaugural Business of the Year awardee in 2017. Who are we? We are Cayman National, your local bank, proudly serving you for over 40 years. It's because of you that our journey continues.
Not all insurance is created equal, but who has the time to shop around? Take the guesswork out of your insurance coverage with Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Let us match you with the best coverage to suit your needs at a price to suit your wallet. Plus, get superior customer service from dedicated claims professionals to ensure speedy claims processing. Get your insurance through Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Call us today at 949-7822 for a free quote. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Cayman, get ready. The Power of Faith Deliverance Ministries presents Dominion Convention 2018 under the theme, Thy Kingdom Come, on November 11th through the 18th. Come hear international and local speakers. On November 17th, come be a part of a brunchy buffet beginning at 11 a.m. and a grand inspiration in the evening at 7 p.m. See you there!
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a bowling alley, lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on their variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
Cayman Brack, yes, it is your turn. The Breeze Fusion 5K Walk Run will be stomping by Southside Public Beach Saturday, November 24th.
Runners, on your mark.
Help support the So-and-So Club and join Radio Cayman for the Brack Breeze Fusion 5K Walk Run. The first 100 participants will receive a shirt and a goodie bag. Register at District Administration or online at www.caymanactive.com.
Let's go. Make no excuses now. I'm
this is Tamara Worms-Riley, the Community Dietitian at the Health Services Authority, and we want you to come out and bring your entire family to the World Diabetes Day health screening at the Health Services Authority Atrium on November 14th. That's Wednesday, November 14th from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. The Cedar, Lions Club, and the Health Services Authority will be doing a full health screening from 8:30 to 2 p.m. on World Diabetes Day, November 14th. See you there.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. Catherine Tyson, I'm sitting in for Sterling this afternoon and wrapping up the conversation with the Cayman Islands Civil Service Association. We have the president in the studio, John Bothwell, as well as the secretary, Ms. Zita May Bodden, and we're talking about the annual general meeting that's coming up. And we've just been covering a lot of things about the CICSA, you know, what it means, who are members, who can be members. Very interesting. And, you know, like we were talking during the break, there's no reason why every civil servant should not be a member of the CICSA. So let's talk a little bit, as we wrap up this conversation, let's talk a little bit about the CICSA in terms of what it does for its members. Because I was talking to you during the break about the housing. I think you have some type of housing grant or something.
Yeah, one of the things we have is a housing assistance committee that you have to be a Caymanian member of the CICSA to qualify for it. It's actually funded by the government through the Financial Secretary's office, and they have there's a committee that sort of as arm's length from us, so we can't influence it too much about because it's for giving benefits to our members, who handles the applications for that. They advertise for applications once or twice a year, depending on the funds available. That was something that came going back many years now, when there was contracted officer supplement, and so it was noticed that Caymanian staff were having difficulty, relatively speaking, compared to those getting contracted officer supplement for doing things like putting down deposit on a house or making small home repairs. Hence the Housing Assistance Committee coming into effect and an operation.
Right.
And the Financial Secretary has very kindly, and we would say wisely, continued that, recognizing that there are still a lot of civil servants who, although they're in a decent job, they are a reliable lendee, if you will. They do still need this little bit of extra assistance, housing assistance, whether that's putting down a deposit on their first house or it's putting in hurricane shutters or something on what they have to make sure it's still there year after year. And it's that kind of pro-social benefits that we like to see for our members. It benefits our employer as well. They don't have to worry about where we're living after the hurricane.
Right.
And so everybody benefits from this program. All members can benefit from this program.
Well, because the lending institutions have their own, kind of structure in place, and they have their, what you need in order for you to qualify for certain things. And sometimes, like you just said, you may be in a job that's paying decent money, but when they run it through their system, it's not, you're not able to be, to meet their guidelines, and so you're not able to qualify. So I think some of those things are outside of your scope, but with things like this housing grant or whatever, that can assist to bring them up to a certain level.
And it's another reason why they sort of strengthen numbers, because once you get big enough, there's very little that's sort of outside the association's scope once you start getting creative. I mean, and this, if we go back many years now, the credit union, the CICSA credit union, grew out of the Civil Service Association when the members at that time saw exactly the type of need that you're describing, and looked and found a creative way around these bottlenecks at the banks that they were experiencing at the time. And the credit union has shown year after year, going from strength to strength, that the civil service, the civil servants, are really good and really responsible people to have at your financial institution.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we as an association do whenever we're talking to new civil servants saying, join the association, we also mention the credit union because we do recognize what a strength it is and has been for civil servants and what it will continue to be.
Absolutely.
And it's one of those ways that anything that we as an association can do that makes things better for our members, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask as well. When people are confused about similar names, like the CICSA versus the CICSA Credit Union, and so you just cleared that up. It was one of the kind of initiatives, I guess, that you saw the need for as an association, not you personally, but as an association.
Yes,
because you're a baby, you just got into this.
Yes, compared to some of these groups that have been going on, like for many decades. I'm just a babe in arms in this side.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's really good too. Now, one question then this leads me to ask also is how effective do you think you are when you are advocating for a particular thing when it comes to the civil service? Because you just mentioned, I think when I was coming back to Cayman, I had lived abroad for a long time. I was coming back to Cayman, but I was not able to get the housing move and the things that an expat would have gotten if they were on contract because I wasn't on contract. So, and we hear complaints about that all the time, that you don't get those allowances. And you just explained that the housing grant was something that was put in place for that. How effective are you, though, when it comes to advocating to the civil service itself on behalf of your members? What do you think that your kind of success rate is with that?
I think that we've been very successful in that, a lot of things have come across us. We've met with the government, with POCs, and we've had many successes, things that could have gone wrong, have gone right.
And POCs is the portfolio of the civil service.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know GAB is the government administration building. Okay.
Yeah. All these abbreviations.
Yeah. Okay.
That we're used to using that within our circle, I guess.
Right.
We got to remember to say it at least once, what we're referring to.
Yeah.
And, so there have been many successes with the association, and we are a registered entity. We are a non-profit, the NPOs. And so we're all legit above board, and we are proud of what the civil service really means to civil servants.
So the strength in numbers,
the strength in numbers and the strength in organization, the fact that the association has been around for so long and isn't going anywhere, means that a lot of times to get improvements, it's about finding the right time. And so, some of these issues I know members can feel are dragging on for a long time because there's a big complex issues many times. And there's no easy answers. If there were, it'd have been done already.
Okay.
But by having an association there representing them year in and year out saying, listen, this is still a problem, or listen, that's still a bad idea, no, you can't do it. We need to find a better solution, means that either bad things don't happen, we can correct imbalances, and when it works really well, we make things better for everybody. And a lot of that is by having that association to be there as a bulwark, again, saying, no, listen, let's look for a better way. Or when they come out to the AGM tomorrow evening at 5:30 at the Georgetown Town Hall, they'll be voting for their management council for 2019, who will be going back in 2019 to government and saying, listen, we still got some of these issues. We're here waiting to sit at the table and work on them. We know they're going to be complex, but we have to deal with them. Let's deal with them. And that willingness to work and find the best solution for everybody, it does mean that when there is an opening, when something is ready to shift externally to the civil service, the civil service is ready to move, the association is ready to move and make those improvements.
Yeah, okay. So every single civil servant should be a member of the CICSA, and they should try to attend that meeting. I don't know where you're going to fit them, but you're going to figure out a way to fit them for sure. Yep. And it's happening tomorrow night at 5:30. And it's going probably no longer than 7:30. It will be at the Georgetown Town Hall. And every member should make an effort because you're there talking about the civil service. So if you're a civil servant, it is in the best interest of you. Yes?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon. We look forward to talking with you more in the future, and we look forward to a successful meeting. We wish you a successful meeting as you vote in your new members, or if you all are going to take the torch again. I wish you well in the new and upcoming year. If they need any more information, where can they go?
CICSA@gov.ky. Just drop us an email. We're happy to answer any of your questions. We also have a CICSA Facebook group. If you're in CICSA, just look us up. If you're a member, please come join a Facebook discussion group and let us know what you're thinking.
All right, CICSA is CICSA. All right, so thank you, John Bothwell, President of the Civil Service Association, and Ms. Zito May Bodden, who is the Secretary. Thank you for joining me this afternoon.
Thank you for having us.
Stay tuned. We'll be back with more Talk Today right after these messages.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
Fashion Forward recently raised funds to benefit the business and professional women's Corinne Thompson Memorial Scholarship Program. Teens from Taya Lounge hosted this show at Royal Palms. Youth from the Synchronized Swimming performed, and the final show was presented by Quincentennial Movement. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. A tropical wave is expected to bring heavy rainfall to portions of the Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico over the next few days, according to the National Hurricane Center in Miami. Strong upper-level winds and interaction with the islands of the Greater Antilles, while the system moves generally westward, should inhibit tropical cyclone formation. The chance of a tropical cyclone forming during the next 5 days has been reduced to low 30%. And Wimbledon finalist Agnieszka Radwanska has announced her retirement from tennis at the age of 29. The former world number 2 was runner-up to Serena Williams in 2012 and won 20 WTA titles in her 13-year career. She finished every season between 2008 and 2016 ranked inside the world's top 15, but is currently ranked 75th and has not won a title since October of 2016. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Babe, not tonight. I need to be rested for all-day meetings tomorrow.
What are you talking about? I was almost asleep.
You keep poking me, and I can't sleep.
That's the mattress spring I keep telling you about. Not me. We really need to get a new mattress.
Tossing and turning, back hurting, can't sleep? It might be time to turn in your old mattress and go to bed with a new one. Browse the huge mattress showroom at Brand Source Home Gallery and pick the perfect mattress today. With mattresses to suit every budget, Brand Source Home Gallery stocks a wide selection of sizes and styles like pillow top and gel memory foam. So stop tossing and turning and sleep better tonight with a new mattress from Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
From happy beginnings to happy ever after,
BritK protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
95% of claims settled in 5 days.
Low-cost life insurance.
And investments.
Security in retirement.
With a custodian pension plan.
Happy beginnings and a happy ever after.
Visit BritK.ky or call 949-8699.
BritK, where people come first.
You remember the sale at Vant Motors?
Yeah, the Your Sale, Your Choice, the one where you can get cash back or can put the savings to extend the warranty or upgrade features?
Yes, it's still going on, but now you can get $8,000 off a new Ford Ranger truck. $8,000, you know?
You for real?
Come see for yourself. While they still have so much to choose from, save big during Your Sale, Your Choice at Vant Motors. With almost every vehicle on sale, you decide whether to get your dream ride at its lowest price. Take cash back, add years to the warranty or service plan. Choose an add-on or mix your options. Your sale, your choice, because you know what you need, and Vant Motors will help you drive it home. Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
At Flow, we know that 4 are better than 1. Introducing Flow Quad Play. Packed with the fastest, most reliable broadband, the power and control of Flow Evo TV, Cayman's best mobile experience, and tons of home phone minutes, all in one convenient package from only $199 a month. With 4 plans to choose from, you're sure to find one that fits your needs. It's value, ease, and convenience all on one bill with Cayman's #1 network. Find out why 4 are better than 1 with Flow Quad Play at discoverflow.ky. Terms and conditions apply.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. Catherine Tyson, I'm sitting in for Sterling this afternoon, and welcoming your thoughts, any questions you might have or any thoughts you have for today, 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261, or email us at talktoday@candw.ky. Hope you're having a great afternoon. I am, because I have people today. This is always good to have people, and not have to figure out what I'm going to say. People as in guests, lovely guests that come bringing tidings, good tidings of cheer. Okay. We were just talking to the Civil Service Association about their annual general meeting that's coming up on Thursday. And I have some more guests in the studio this afternoon from the Cayman Turtle Center. We're all familiar with that. We will be talking to Mr. Tim Adam, who's the managing director, as well as Mr. Geddes Hislop. Now, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Oh, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good to be here.
All right. Good to see you. Always running into you from time to time. You've been the Turtle Center now for how long? How long has it been for you?
Well, I started in January 2010.
Okay. All right. So it's been a while. Time has flown.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
and Mr. Geddes, now, how long have you been there?
Oh, I started in May 2005.
Oh, wow. So what's your role there?
I'm the curator for the terrestrial exhibits and the education programs.
Okay, and so you'll tell us exactly what that is in a little bit, yes? That sounded like a mouthful there. Lots of good things happening there, obviously. Lots of new things that we're talking about today. Let's talk a little bit about the breeding season. Let's kind of start that.
Yeah, it's been an excellent breeding season, and because of success in recent years with the breeding program, this year, 2018, we've been able to do some things that, quite frankly, in most cases we hadn't done before, or we were able to complete beta testing of some programs releasing turtles in ways that really hadn't been done before. So because of how many turtles that we were able to have and how many eggs we were able to have, we started programs where we went from the alpha testing the previous year to this year, rolling it out to many properties of taking eggs that were bred in captivity, laid, in our facility, brought into the hatchery, incubated for the first 55 plus days, and then when they're 5 days or so away from hatch, we took them out and we placed them in a nest that we dug, just like a female turtle would do, on a beach that a female turtle would choose, that was in front of a tourist accommodation property. Or we also used the West Bay Public Beach for 3 of those occasions, and then the rest were all at different accommodation properties, all the way from East End through Bodden Town, and of course most of them along 7 Mile Beach, which is a very popular nesting site for the females in the wild.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, so that was one program. The other program, there were 2 other programs involving hatchlings as well, because, of course, there's one event when you put the eggs in the nest that people are really interested in seeing the eggs. And, for most cases, if you're a visitor to Cayman and you get to see a turtle egg, might be the only time in your life you ever get a chance. It's pretty amazing, right? So they saw that. Then when the night event of the hatchlings emerging, which would be quite a few nights after the implantation of these translocated eggs, That was another big event. And it wasn't only for the guests of that one property where we were in front of, but any guest was welcome, of course, to come. And not only guests, but local people got very interested in it. And as a matter of fact, one of the probably most popular ones ended up being up at East End, at the Wyndham. And we had a great mix of visitors to the island. There's two properties, quite adjacent to each other up there in East End. And residents that many people turned out, and some of them were there from wee hours in the morning because that particular batch of hatchlings decided to, 2 or 3 of them came up on top of the sign. That signaled it was going to happen sometime that night or early morning.
Okay.
And hours later they came out. So that was one way that we had hatchling, basically turtle tourism events with hatchling. The second type of event, we took hatchlings from the centre that we had hatched out in our hatchery, and we took a batch of them and released them at night at a fairly dark beach near to a tourist accommodation property. So we've been developing that. We did it also at another site up in Barker's, and I think probably as we go on with it, it'll probably be in most cases near a tourist accommodation property. Great turnout. The other very exciting development this year, the first time we've ever done this, to my knowledge, was we took hatchlings on a dive boat.
Okay.
And we did what's called the jump start, where instead of them being at risk of predation by crabs and birds and snappers and groupers and all the barracudas and all that, all those fish that are near shore, we got them jump started over all of that. Okay. And they had the opportunity to be released into the deep ocean, having gone over those hurdles, I should say, without those risks of predation. And tourists had the opportunity to come on the dive boats and watch as little hatchlings were released in the water downstream from the sargassum mats. So yes, sargassum is good for some.
Okay.
And swim into the mat, and you then see what they do when they get in there, which is it's just charming. And for those people, it's transformational. They once they've seen a baby turtle do that, all of a sudden they're an advocate for turtles. And in many cases, they loved turtles before; they just love them even more after that. So those are all with hatchings. And then the fourth thing I'll talk about is what we did with this year with the yearlings and older, and that's called head starting. And we released those. That's something we've been doing for a while, except this is the first year we've ever done it in Sister Island. So that's pretty much a rundown of
that's
quite
a rundown. That's a lot. That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of stuff. We can talk about some of those things. Very interesting that, you kind of put almost like you put that together to recreate itself, so not the natural way it's done, right? But mimicking the natural way.
Exactly.
So almost like jump starting it yourself. And was that the whole idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, behind it?
But it has a foundation that began, back in the 70s, when, even in 1968, when Mariculture Limited was formed, 50 years ago. This October past was 50 years since the company was formed as a private sector organization. But it was formed to conserve marine turtles through commercialization of marine turtles. That was a concept, building on what had happened with the buffalo, the North American bison, and had brought those back from what looked like it was headed for extinction, and now they're quite prolific. That was the original concept of the original founders, and it was always part of the plan that some of them would be released into the wild. But a lot of this had to be proven because nobody else was breeding marine turtles in captivity. As far as I know, no one else is doing that today. Either we're the only ones doing it, the only country in the world, the only facility in the world doing it. But it's not without having proven that it works. So way back in the 1980s, various studies were done. Some were done with titanium tags, which were flipper tags that were attached to the flipper. It had a serial number. It had I believe it was a phone number to call, and there was a reward for anybody who turned in one of those tags that said where the animal was caught and gave certain dimensions of the turtle, how big it was, and so on. And that was a study that went on for a number of years, and basically what it proved was that, first of all, the turtles survived, that the turtles migrated, as you expect, to different parts of typically Western Caribbean, and then some of them went up to the west coast of Florida, the Gulf Coast of Florida. They had someone as far south as Venezuela. And so, that was the beginning of knowing that this actually worked. And then in the 1980s, there was a living tag program where we basically transplanted, the belly of the babies, of the hatchlings, is almost a clear white. It's very creamy white. And that was transplanted, a little transplant of that tissue onto the back that was coded, depending on which scoot you put it on for what year. And in the 1980s, that program of living tag took place, where the tag would grow and grow and grow, and you would know what year, and of course you'd know that it came from Cayman Turtle Center. Those started showing up. But the amazing study that was done began in 2014 and ran through 2016. Part of the Darwin Initiative funded by the UK government, run by the Department of Environment in Cayman, and they partnered up with the University of Exeter in the UK and the University of Barcelona in Spain. And they did a few different studies, but one of the studies they did was a DNA study to confirm what's the contribution of all these released turtles, that came from Cayman Turtle Center and its predecessors to the wild population. That's very exciting, because that found through DNA proof that a minimum of half of Cayman's current nesting green turtle population came from us. So this thing, we not only did they survive in the wild, not only did they do the migration, which you expect turtles to do, but the whole cycle, the whole life cycle, and the coming back to your original, your birthplace for a turtle, that was then proven to be extremely successful. Not only that, proven that thanks to that, we now have a healthy population of green turtles around Grand Cayman.
Yeah.
So this year we, for the first time, started releasing turtles in the sister islands because we want to emulate that success there. For example, Cayman Brac has very, very few green turtle nests. They have years when there are none at all.
Okay.
So
is that something you're working on?
We, for the first time in conjunction with Cayman Airways, it was Cayman Airways' 50th anniversary. It was ours as well. So we committed to release 50 turtles in the sister islands and 50 turtles in Grand Cayman, 50 for 50 we called it. And through a great collaborative effort, we had excellent cooperation with Cayman Airways. We were able to release turtles in Little Cayman, in Cayman Brac, and of course here in Grand Cayman. So.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to take a little break, but we'll be back and, continue the discussion with the representatives from the Cayman Turtle Center. That's Mr. Tim Adam, who is the actual managing director, and Geddes Hislop, who's the curator of something. And you're going to tell us that when we come back. Okay. So we'll take a quick break. Stay tuned for more Talk Today.
Hello, this is Tamara Worms-Riley, the community dietitian at the Health Services Authority, and we want you to come out and bring your entire family to the World Diabetes Day health screening at the Health Services Authority Atrium on November 14th. That's Wednesday, November 14th from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. The Cedar, Lions Club, and the Health Services Authority will be doing a full health screening from 8:30 to 2 p.m. on World Diabetes Day, November 14. See you there.
RC Fusion, featuring Billboard pop hit songs and more from the 70s to the 90s.
RC Fusion.
Weekdays from 10 a.m. till 12.
RC Fusion.
Brought to you by Country and Western. No mess, no fuss. Just the best in Caymanian cuisine. At a price you can afford.
Country and Western now offering delivery. Call 945-4079.
RC Fusion.
RC Fusion.
This coming Thursday at 7 p.m., you can hear another presentation in Radio Cayman CI Retro Talk Today special program series on Caymanian history, culture, and heritage, and its importance to the Cayman Islands community and its forward sail, future endeavors, and plans. With Remembrance Day and the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I observances this past weekend, the focus will be on Caymanian involvement, sacrifice, and dedication to the defense and preservation of freedom and democracy. This special special CI Retro Talk Today presentation is being brought to you by these fine sponsors. Four Winds Esso in West Bay, serving the West Bay community and the wider Cayman Islands community for over 6 decades. The Ministry of Culture, Flowers Bottled Water, the Cooler Bottled Water, and by the Appliance Doctors. CI Retro Talk Today special program presentation on Thursday at 7 p.m. on Radio Cayman.
South Coast Bar and Grill up in Breakers, man, that is the place for traditional Cayman cuisine. Oh, you will love the taste. At South Coast Bar and Grill, we got conch and lobster and turtle stew. And every Sunday, come out with your family for the barbecue.
South Coast Bar and Grill by the seaside, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, lunch and dinner. Call us at 947-2517.
For Cayman and cuisine, the talk today is South Coast Bar and Grill.
Rising Stars Dance Ministry is proud to present the annual Dance for Christ. Saturday, November 17th at the Church of God Chapel Family Life Center. Featuring UCCI dance group Christ Cathedral Mass Choir, JJZ Dancers, Brother Delano, DJ Zamar, Skippy Dexterous Brothers, LeBron McLean, Brother Alaska, Center Point Dancers, and Famous Cousins with MC Brother Ricardo and Cheryl T.
Tickets are only $10 pre-sold, $15 at the gate, and children under 12 are only $5.
Dance for Christ is proudly sponsored by Burger King, Domino's, Wendy's, Link International, MLA, Kenneth Bryan, Funky Tank, and Radio Cayman. This November 17th. Don't miss out on Dance for Christ. Brought to you by the Rising Stars Dance Ministry.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. Catherine Tyson, I'm sitting in for Sterling this afternoon and have the Cayman Turtle Center in the studio this afternoon, speaking with Mr. Tim Adam, who's the managing director, as well as Geddes Hislop, who is the curator. I'm going to say what he really does here. It's curator, terrestrial exhibits and education programs. No, I did not remember that. I read it off of his card. I tell you. Now, Mr. Geddes, we were just talking to Mr. Adam about everything, right? Basically, that has to do with the breeding season and the breeding program. Let's talk a little bit about what you do and bring us up to speed with some of the programs that you're running there, and just so we know what's happening.
Okay, well, basically, of course, the Turtle Center is full of turtles. My job is I work with everything that has legs.
Okay.
So there are other animals there besides turtles. We have under the terrestrial exhibits, the main feature that most people might know about is an aviary of different species of Caribbean birds, including our national birds.
Okay.
Cayman parrots.
All right.
And we have a agouti on display. We also have a crocodile that some people may remember that we rescued sometime back in 2006.
So you have a crocodile?
A crocodile.
One.
Yes.
Okay. All
yes.
Right.
The crocodile. The reason we call the Cayman Islands crocodiles.
Yeah.
Okay. And apart from that, I also do the education programs. We work with a lot of the schools, all the way from preschool up to university, and we've designed programs to basically help teachers get their message across to students. So the idea behind it is we create these programs, these lesson plans that will help enhance the teaching. We've actually looked at the curriculum, the Brighter Futures curriculum, and we try to match some of the requirements there. So for teachers teaching, for example, social studies, they're doing history of the Cayman Islands. They could come to us and we can tell them about turtling.
Okay.
And we can actually live it. They can show them what a catboat looks like, what it's like to actually hold a turtle. Some of our turtles still have the original holes in their flippers, some of the very early ones we got from the 60s when the program first started. A couple of them have holes in the flippers from when the old turtles used to bind the flippers together.
Okay.
So we can show them things like that, and basically bring it to life for them, among a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Math.
Yeah.
We do math at the park. It takes math out of a boring book and makes it live. Okay. Because all day long we have to solve math problems. We have to figure out how much chemical we're going to use to treat this, how much food we need to put together, a percentage of food we need to feed that, those kinds of things. So it makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
It helps them to apply things, and hopefully it helps the teacher to make it more interesting for them.
So all year round you're running these programs?
Yes, well, of course, mostly during the school year, but in the off season, during the summer vacation, we actually get schools from overseas, as well as visiting university students that come down to do programs with us.
Okay. So I mean, for what does your month look like during the school year?
During the school year, we might probably get 1 or 2 school visits a week, and depending on what level it is, whether it's preschool or high school or whatever, we would take them into a presentation room, give them an orientation, make it a live interactive presentation, and then we go outside and we actually talk about it and to reinforce what they were talking about. Teachers would usually send us their objectives ahead of time, and we design the activities according to what it is they need to get across.
Is this a paid service from the schools?
The schools pay a minimum entry fee.
Oh, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
So you put that stuff together just when they tell you what they need. You just put that stuff together. They don't have to pay for that.
No, they don't pay for that.
Wow.
They just pay one entry fee, and that's it. And we cover the whole thing. And then afterwards, if they want to play, most of them afterwards they go play with the turtles.
Of course.
So it's a sort of reward as well.
Yeah.
For students.
No, it's a great community. I think service for the community.
Oh yeah. Well, on top of that, we also use the visits as a carrot stick, because teachers will write us about a class that did a project and they did really well, or students that had good performances or something like that, and we would offer them a free entry to the park.
Oh, wow.
So they get to come in and play as a reward. So teachers will use that to encourage good behavior, or to give them an incentive to work harder.
Okay,
that kind of thing.
That's great. That's good. Mm-hmm. Now I know it's been I think kind of a little maybe not necessarily confusion, but just the name, right? So we talked about that, the Turtle Farm. We've known it to be the Turtle Farm since I was a little girl. That's a while back, But I know it's the Cayman Turtle Center. Tell us what is covered under the Turtle Center, because it's so many different dimensions of this program. Right?
Well, we realized that a couple of things. One is that the organization, we really changed who we are, what we do, and what our primary focal points are over the years, even since I joined. And as I mentioned, I only joined in 2010, so that's, almost 9 years ago.
Only almost 9 years ago.
Compared
Time flies in the tropics, man.
So, whereas originally the company was set up as a commercial enterprise that would be involved in turtle conservation as well. Now what we are is officially now the Cayman Turtle Conservation and Education Center Limited, or memorandum and articles. The Cabinet agreed not only with the name change but with the change in the memorandum to show what our purposes are now. And they're primarily centered around both conservation and education, and with the combination of conservation and education comes research, and so that's what we're aiming to do, and it's at the heart and soul of everything that we do, is to conserve the animal and also to bring people in contact directly, one-on-one or face-to-face in real life with these animals. Turtles are probably the best ambassadors of the entire ocean. You see, because the nesting turtles, the eggs and the hatchlings use the beach. The hatchlings on their way out to the deep ocean use the shallows. The mating and nesting adults use the shallows. That's where they find each other. That's where they mate. And that's where they'll hang out throughout the breeding season. The hatchlings, coming back to them, and for the first year or more of their life are out in the deep ocean. They're floating around in sargassum mats where they find their food and where they find the shelter, the cover from all the creatures that are looking to snack on them. Then when they become juveniles and they're getting a little bit bigger and they're less of a risk of being predated, of a creature getting them and eating them, they then come into the shallows, and you'll see around Cayman now juvenile green turtles, even some juvenile hawksbill turtles. Unfortunately, not very many hawksbill adults, and that's another story. We really want to get to working on as well. But and the loggerheads. So those are the three species we have in Cayman today, and you'll see them using the shallows. So every part of the ocean, from the beach to the shallows to the deep ocean, turtles use. If we are able to engage people and get them falling in love with turtles, people will protect the things that they love. And if we can educate them now on what they have to do to protect turtles, we will have taken care of beaches, shallows, and deep ocean. So a big part of what we do is to bring visitors and residents alike so that wherever they may end up after they leave our Cayman Turtle Center, we take back with them a deep passion for these creatures and arm them with a bit of education about what they can do to help preserve them and conserve them and help them thrive in the wild, because a big part of our mission is to make sure that there's a lot of turtles around the island of Cayman so people can see them in the wild. And of course, so people can see them at our place, because a big part of how we're funded is through the tourist attraction parts of our business. And together, between the admissions and the food and beverage that people consume while they're there and they buy from us, and the souvenirs and gifts that they buy from our retail merchandise centres, comprise some 88% of our revenues. I mean, that's pretty much where it comes from. Yeah. So we depend upon the tourist attraction parts of it, in situ, to generate the revenue to allow us to do all these other wonderful things. But now what we're doing, and what we started to do this year, is take a lot of programs even outside of our walls to create Cayman, our vision of Cayman to be the top of the world in turtle tourism. Not just within Cayman Turtle Center, but also outside and all around the island, and eventually spreading to the sister islands as well, with programs that are engaging visitors with turtles in ways that are just not possible anywhere else. There's no, those 4 programs I told you about, if you look around the world, where else can do that? You can have wild turtles nesting, and you can watch those beaches, and you can watch the babies coming out of the ground when they hatch out at night. But aside from that, the degree of certainty with which a hotel, for example, could begin advertising, let's say in March, that on a particular week in, say, July or August the following year, they are going to have a turtle nest on their beach. And they can say that with certainty. Why? Because we're creating the environment and possibility of that at Cayman Turtle Center.
Yeah. Okay.
A dive company can offer a dive on a particular day and say, on that day, our second dive of the day is going to be, we're going to release hatchlings out in the deep ocean, and you get to watch them. You get to be in the water, watching at a safe distance to see what they do, and it's absolutely charming. And like I say, once in a lifetime experience for most of those people.
Definitely. Let's take a break, but we'll be back to continue the discussion. Stay tuned for more Talk Today.
Run off that extra helping of turkey dinner and give back in a big way this Thanksgiving. Register now for the Meals on Wheels Turkey Trot 5K and 10K Fun Walk and Run on Saturday, November 24th at the Holiday Inn Resort in Safe Haven. Registration is only $25, and there are lots of spot prizes to be won. Breakfast, a costume competition, children's race, and so much more. Sponsored in part by Rum Point Club Residences and Greenlight Re. Help Meals on Wheels fight senior hunger in the Cayman Islands. Visit www.mealsonwheels.ky or register at caymanactive.com.
There are times when you need to stand and fight, and times when it makes more sense to hunker down and ride it out. I'm Charles Whitaker, reminding you that you need to know where you are going to safely shelter before the storm strikes. For more information, visit caymanprepared.ky.
Brand Source Home Gallery has been appointed the exclusive Cayman supplier for Duravit bathroom products. Duravit is the leading international manufacturer of bathroom ceramics, tubs, and showers, recognized around the world for beautiful, functional products. Winner of top industry awards, Duravit collaborates with leading European designers to provide the most elegant and innovative bath products. If you're ready to bring style, comfort, and innovation to your bathroom, visit Brand Source Home Gallery to see the new Duravit showroom and meet the in-house bath designer. Whether you're planning a functional family bathroom or a personal spa retreat, browse the Duravit collection and be inspired. Brand Source Home Gallery, delivering a new standard in custom designed bathrooms. Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Okay, settle down. There's someone I want to thank. This guy knows how to get the most out of every fill-up. This guy had the common sense to drive into Esso so I could get back on the road. $5,000 richer. Thanks to me. Thank you so much, me. Thank you. Yes.
Spend $25 at any Esso service station and get a chance to win in weekly draws for $5,000 cash. Every week for 5 weeks, we'll be choosing a winner. You can also get a chance to win free fuel and prizes at our weekly Spin and Win events. That's $30,000 in cash and prizes to be won. Drive into an Esso station today. You'll thank yourself. The Esso brand is a trademark of ExxonMobil Corporation and is used under license.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. Sitting here chatting with the Cayman Turtle Center folks from there, Mr. Tim Adam, the managing director, and Mr. Geddes Hislop, who is the curator of all things that have legs.
Yes.
Yes, okay, I like that. I think that should go on the card now. Okay. Just chatting a little bit about, some of the things that happen at the Cayman Turtle Center, some of the programs. We're kind of limited sometimes as the general public. We just think it does this or it does that. And everybody's just concerned, is there going to be enough turtle meat to eat? So that's a good way to start this segment and this conversation.
Sure. It's a very good question to ask. And the answer is yes, but let me tell you why I can say yes. We're standing on the shoulders of giants. The people came before us who have been working very, very hard, very, very diligently, and with a lot of innovation and creativity to create the opportunities we have to do what we can do today. So in order to get to where we are today, first of all, we had to do all that research to make sure it made sense, to make sure that it was effective to put either hatchlings and or head starts into the sea. Do they survive? Do they add to the Western Caribbean population of turtles? And do some of them come back to Cayman to nest? The answer to all that, we now know for sure, is yes.
Yes.
So we have the motivation to do it. But the other thing is we have the possibility to do it because part of that research has been going on over all of these decades. As I say, it's been in existence. This is now our 50th year. Was a lot of research on the husbandry of turtles. What does it take for a turtle to not only survive but to thrive? And to get a turtle to thrive to the extent it goes beyond just the survival, just beyond longevity, but to reproduction. Because, the biologists will tell you that turtles, if they, for example, have any deficiency in nutrition or anything like that, right, the last thing that their bodies will direct the nutrition to is to reproduction. And the bodies will use what it needs just to keep the turtle alive. But the fact that we're getting the production we're getting now, since some research was completed with our current Chief of Research and Conservation, or Chief Research and Conservation Officer, Dr. Walter Mustin, did a lot of work that ended up building on previous work, adding his own research that he had done, creating a new formula for the breeders to be sure that there was a right combination of the macronutrients and the micronutrients, all the things that it took for those turtles to really thrive and to reproduce very successfully, not only in great numbers of eggs, but improving the success of the hatchlings. And that, combined with various other management techniques and hatching techniques, resulted in us having not only an abundance of eggs. I believe this year we surpassed 40,000 eggs, which is huge. I mean, we're coming from a situation where not very many years ago we were getting 8,000 eggs, and now we're talking about 40,000.
Okay.
And then also having a lot of babies. And the babies, these hatchlings, right, are basically the seed stock for all of the things that we do. But our meat production is a vital part of our conservation. That's something that seems counterintuitive.
Right.
Okay.
So what does just interject here? What does 40,000 eggs mean to us, to the general public? What does that mean? Is that 40,000 turtles?
No.
Okay.
So that's the thing. So I'm trying to think what the number was, but like back in 2010, the hatch success rate, as far as I recall, was into single digits. It was pretty low. I don't know. Geddes might remember some numbers.
We're varying between something like 20% and 5 to 20%.
Yeah, it was success rate. But it's interesting because some of the turtles, you get over 80% from that female, and then others was 0 because, remember, some of our turtles begin breeding when they're young, and there are elements of the whole breeding process. I know this is a G-rated audience, so we won't go too deep into that, but there's parts of it that don't work at that age, but they start, right? And now we've got them reproducing at the age of 13, when very successfully, good hatch success rate that in the wild, the scientists tell us, is typical. You got to wait till they're 25 or older for the green. I'm talking about green turtle species now. The species differ in years to maturity, but by doing what we've done in that production of a large number of eggs, we've also increased the percentage. So those 40,000, we've got over 4,000 hatchlings out of it. So it's gone up, right? And so we produce more babies. So having that abundance of hatchlings means that we can release hatchlings in the hundreds.
Okay.
We released over 1,300 turtles this year.
Right.
And 160, just over 160 of them were head starts, 1 and 2 or 3 year old, and the rest were hatchlings.
Okay.
And so you see how that all works. So we've still got a huge stock of, think of it as this year's crop of the offspring of the breeding process. And so we still have a lot of them that can go in these release programs without impacting negatively on our ability to keep up with the demand for turtle meat. But as I say, what's really important to understand is the consumption of turtle meat began from the beginning of Cayman having been discovered. It's what brought a lot of those old sailing ships to our shores.
Okay.
The Cayman Islands, many scientists consider that we were probably the most prolific rookery for turtles in the Western Hemisphere, the Cayman Islands. And, from Columbus' first sighting, when he thought he got himself up in amongst rocks, according to what was written in the log. And they were very relieved to learn they weren't actually rocks. They were mating turtles that were sitting on the surface of the water while they, did their mating. Right. And they were known. Sea turtles were known because they're in the Mediterranean. They were known to be a good source of meat. And guess what? Because of their reptiles, certain characteristics of them, so long as you keep them where they don't overheat, that was fresh meat for the voyage home. So the consumption of turtle meat has been fundamental to the development of the Caribbean, certainly of Cayman Islands, from its discovery on. So it's over 500 years of history. And the indigenous peoples of Cayman, that's us, right? We were the first people here. We're the indigenous people. Nobody was living here before us, according to the archaeological and all the anthropological records.
Right.
We grew up eating turtle meat, and it's still very much a part of our culture, part of our, let's call it habit almost, right? It's part of our identity of who we are. And so we are not, we're not looking at saying, look, we're going to stop producing turtle meat in order to release more turtles. We're saying we're producing an ample quantity of turtles so we can do both, because the other side of that Darwin Initiative study was very interesting, because the other side was a 1-year study. It took 12 months, a very, very thorough study on the socioeconomics of turtle meat consumption.
Right.
And the results of that are available if anybody is interested in reading the final report, which doesn't have all the detail but has some of the detail in it. Is if you just Google DPLUS 019, that means Darwin Plus Project 019, and the final report is DPLUS 019 FR. That's the final report. A lot of material on it. Basically what the socioeconomic study showed was somewhere around, it's more than 90% of people that consume turtle meat in the Cayman Islands consume legal turtle meat. In other words, bought from us. All right? The vast predominant proportion of them. If you take those people and you ask them, because they did, okay, why do you consume only the legal turtle meat? And they have good reasons for it. Another important question to ask, okay, so you only consume legal turtle meat. Suppose the supply of legal turtle meat was cut off. Would you then go into consuming illegal turtle meat?
Right, okay.
And 46.8% said absolutely, we're going to have our turtle meat. And no matter how you slice that, there's the supply of live turtles in the sea around Cayman would not survive for more than just a few short months.
Yeah, I've never heard of such a thing as illegal turtle meat.
Well, the reality, and that's a risk, right? The reality is that people here know how to poach them. They still know how to poach them. There are phases of a turtle's activities that make them very vulnerable to poaching. And, we better keep producing the meat and selling it at the subsidized price that we sell it at in order that we suppress the tendency to poach and or the tendency to buy from poachers the illegal meat. So there's a whole raft of things that we are gearing up to do to further address that element of it.
Okay.
But let me just say something that, may be controversial, but I'm into understanding why we need to keep it going for local people, preserving local traditions and local cuisine. I'm becoming convinced that it isn't something we should encourage visitors to do. I think this is something that's part of our culture. It's our thing, right? And we should preserve that and keep it going. But we don't need to drive up the demand because the demand has been going up all by itself.
Oh, okay. So you're saying don't let them taste it.
I'm saying why?
Because they're sold. If you let them taste it, forget it.
Here's the thing. It's a good eating meat. It's a healthy meat. But in the present circumstances where the Cayman Islands is the only place in the world that is producing it, right?
Okay. All right. We have a caller on the line, so let's go to the phones. Good afternoon, caller. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to you, panel.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes. I think I saw something in the papers where you guys just released some turtles off at spots. At the spot stop.
Yes, we released 25 head started turtles on Sunday.
Wow. When you guys release those turtles, do you have them on label? Do you have them tagged?
Yeah, well, I'll explain how they're tagged because there are different types of tagging. And the types of tag we use on that size turtle for most of our releases is called a passive inductive transducer, a PIT tag, and it's the same type of tag as you can put in your pet. And it gives a unique serial number. That serial number is coded to us, and we code, the turtle will be named, the name of who released it or the name of when it was released and where it was released will be something you can, that we can store in a database that's accessible. But yeah, it's a PIT tag, but it isn't an externally visible tag. It's something that's inserted underneath their skin.
So then if someone goes to take a turtle, then you all don't have no proof.
I beg your pardon?
So if someone goes into the water and take a turtle out of the water, and then you all don't know that it's gone or it can't be tracked once it's in the water. That's what you say?
Right.
Once that turtle is being removed from the water, it cannot be tracked.
Not like the satellite tag. I think you were maybe referring to the satellite tagging of turtles, which is also done, and we also do a little bit of that. But the ones that are, and by the way, typically even when a satellite tag turtle is poached, very often it's a sad circumstance, and the satellite tagging doesn't necessarily prevent the poaching. So I'm not sure what I want to understand what your question is so that we answer it
I'm
thoroughly.
going to tell you, Mr. Adam, what I'm trying to get, I'm trying to ask those questions because they're at a spot beach. Just a couple of months, a turtle was taken out of the water. I mean, them size turtle was taken out of the water. That's what I'm talking about. Are they tied that it can be traced or anything in that category? Because if you can put those turtles out there and after a period of time, people just go and pick them up and walk in the water with them. I mean, what's the purpose of letting them off in the water? They're going to try to trap them and penalize the individual.
Okay, so that comes under the National Conservation Law. There are penalties for it. There's enforcement of it. The Department of Environment has enforcement officers. Their powers have been increased, and so there are legal means of prosecuting those instances, and there have been instances of them being not only prosecuted but successfully brought before the courts and the necessary punitive action taken. So
yes,
so the
I tell you, down at that spot stop, anything can be going down there and be removed because there's nobody, ain't no one there watching what's happening when it comes to taking those the water, and it is happening. I can guarantee that right now. It's happening.
Okay.
So it needs to be more secure.
Sure. Well, there's another piece to this. If we're talking about enforcement of prohibitions against illegal meat, there are possibilities that we are working on. It's part and parcel of a broader initiative, a species conservation plan for the green turtle species, and that will involve certain other actions that we are interested in taking to get to that point. But Cayman Turtle Center has a role to play in providing a legal source of meat. As I told you, it is subsidized deliberately to reduce incentive for poaching. And there are some other steps we're getting ready to take which would enable identification of the meat as whether it's from us or from an illegal source. And,
okay.
That's
and thank you so much for that call this afternoon. Great question,
Sure.
great concern,
Sure.
obviously, great observation as well. So that's just
Sure.
things that also help you to improve your programs
Right.
or whatever that
Right.
you're doing. I mean, it's good that, the community is looking out for that. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more, so stay tuned.
Congratulations, it's a boy.
During the greatest events of your life, whether or not you have the right health insurance coverage should be the last thing on your mind. That's why at Fidelity Health, we are committed to helping you get matched with the right plan to suit you and your family. We offer a range of plans to suit your budget, plus access to a network of quality care throughout the Caribbean and the USA. You can relax and enjoy life's greatest moments when you are covered with Fidelity Health. Call us today at 949-7822 for a free quote.
Tune in every Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. for Radio Cayman Super Jam Show, the #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio, featuring Will Sinatra. Enjoy a mix of pop, hip-hop, reggae, and calypso, and an entertainment trivia section. The Super Jam Show is fueled by the proud sponsorship of Merengue Town. It's time to feel the rhythm, time to feel the vibes. It's time for Merengue Town.
Cayman Kind is the Cayman experience.
We work at the Cayman Craft Market.
It is a myth that we do not need the cruise ship industry.
It is a fact that when there are no ships in port, we do not earn a living. We depend on the cruise industry, and if it was to reduce by half, many others just like us would suffer immensely. We want to work and provide for our families.
We need the pier.
Support the piers. Support our tourism.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. Catherine Tyson, I'm sitting in for Sterling this afternoon and wrapping up the conversation with the Cayman Turtle Center, Mr. Tim Adam, the managing director, as well as Geddes Hislop, who is the curator, terrestrial exhibits and education programs. Just really having a conversation about this turtle center that everybody enjoys having in our community, and some of the things very unique to just the Caribbean alone. I mean, even outside the world, right? It's something that we have that we can be proud of, and it's grown so much, and it's just changed in different dimensions. So, yeah, very, very excited about that. I know you have some things coming up in 2019. Then we wanted to talk a little bit about the plastic. We want to wrap up the conversation now because we could be here talking for so much longer.
The whole topic of plastics really deserves its own show, and so I hope maybe we come back again and we talk in much greater detail about that. That's one of the messages Geddes gives, like when he's doing his talk, either one of us doing a talk at a Turtle Release, is we bring it, once we've got people's attention, then we explain to them that there's one threat that exists throughout their life cycle at every stage, and that's plastics in the ocean.
Right.
And so that's the topic of another show. And I mean, in 2019, we aim to be really ramping up our activities in that regard and doing our part even more intensely than we've done this year, which was quite a lot.
Yeah, so you're removing all plastic from the center. Is that one of the plans?
The single-use plastics. We're aiming to get rid of all the single-use plastics from Cayman Turtle Center. And basically leading by example, and then more and more on the awareness and support for the various programs that are working here. I mean, we've been in great discussions with Plastic Free Cayman, the leadership of that, and so anyhow, that, as I say, that's a really worth a whole other show because it's a really it's a difficult issue, it's a complex one, and there are ways that really everyone can help.
I know you're chatting about that on Business Buzz as well. So there's lots of information going on about that, but definitely you should come back and talk about that.
And the other program we didn't get a chance to talk on, but again, something very dear to Geddes' heart, is that babies that were born in captivity to the parents that we have had at Cayman Turtle Center. And so...
what is that? Tell us a little bit about that then.
Oh, well, at the Turtle Center we have two of our national icons. The green turtle, sea turtle, and the Cayman parrot.
Okay.
And just so most people don't know, there are two Cayman parrots, and both of them are the national birds.
Okay.
And we have both at the center. That's part of the things that we do with students, because we have one of the programs called our National Treasures, and we teach them that the Cayman parrot, we have two Cayman parrots. You have the Cayman black parrot, we have the grand Cayman parrot. They're both the national birds, and we teach them that they're unique to Cayman, to the Cayman Islands. They have all the colors of the Cayman flag. So the Cayman parrot is our original national flag carrier.
Okay.
No disrespect to Cayman Airways. But when a Cayman parrot is in flight, all the colors of the flag are in their wings and tails.
Yeah.
So
What's
that's
the
our
difference?
flag flying.
What's the difference between the two?
That's a description by itself. It's easier to see them.
Okay.
But basically they have different accents.
Oh, okay. Okay. So they sound different.
They sound different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So over the years, since 2009, we've been breeding these parrots in captivity and doing token releases of these parrots into the wild. And this weekend at the Botanic Park at 10 o'clock, we want to release 4 captive-bred female parrots into the wild.
When is that? Remind us again.
At the Queen Elizabeth Botanic Park, 10 o'clock this Saturday, the 17th.
Okay. Nice. All right.
And it's open to the public.
Okay.
It's a symbolic release. It's not a big flock of them, but it's again, like Mr. Adams said, it's an opportunity to get people interested, and while they engage and they're loving the parrots, we can give them the message about the plight of these birds and they're losing habitats and all of the things that are affecting them.
Okay, so you bred them, you said, in captivity.
Yes.
And now you're releasing them.
Right.
In what vein? Like, what would you like to happen? Or what do you imagine will happen?
We want them to go out there and, just like a turtle, to thrive and breathe. We've been doing it for a while and we know it's successful. But these birds, they've been raised in captivity and they have to go through a process. Just the short thing is we teach them to be wild.
Okay.
Because they're raised in captivity. They're raised in our aviary, which is a semi-natural environment.
Okay.
But we take them and isolate them to get them desensitized to humans, so they don't approach somebody looking for food.
Okay.
And we teach them to recognize their own natural food in the wild.
Okay.
And then we release them. We want to release them in the best habitat. And the area around the Botanic Park is one of
It's
was
perfect.
one of the pristine habitats.
Okay, great. So do you think that they would probably stay around that general area? Is
They
that
will.
also
They
the
will.
hope?
They will. Because once we've released before, we've integrated into other wild flocks, and these are females, so they shouldn't have a problem finding a mate. Hopefully.
Okay. All right. They shouldn't have a problem.
Shouldn't.
Right. Now, do they crossbreed as well?
I'm not sure what you mean by crossbreed.
I mean, just with different species of birds.
No. Birds. If parrots and other birds meet their own, they tend to stay with their own kind.
Okay.
They
right.
instinctively recognize their own kind. These birds have been around other parrots like themselves, so they know they know their own kind.
Okay.
They also get wild parrots visiting them from time to time, so they know how it works.
That's good.
So the two subspecies that Gaddy's mentioned, the one that's in Cayman Brac versus the one that's in Grand Cayman, we keep them separately as well at Cayman Turtle Center. So
okay.
Yeah, they're not.
Oh yeah, no, we don't mix.
So they're not crossbreeding.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming today. Lots of information. I mean, lots of good things coming up as well in 2019. You have the Turtle Tourism Initiative coming up. We have, everybody's obviously on the lookout for the turtles on the shores and the beaches and just taking care of that as well.
That's why we do what we do.
Good information
so you
too.
Can do that. You have the opportunity to do that.
Definitely. And encourage the public to continue to be diligent, as well as just respectful too, if they happen to see the turtles or the eggs, to leave them, to not pick them up. Thank you so much, Mr. Tim Adam, who's the managing director of the Cayman Turtle Center, as well as Geddes Hislop, who is the curator of all things with legs. Lots of great educational programs over there at the Cayman Turtle Center. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining me this afternoon.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
We're going to take a break now, but you stay tuned. We'll be back with more Talk Today.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
12 young Caymanians are on the cusp of completing the Public Works Department's apprenticeship program. Minister responsible, the Honorable Joey Hugh, told lawmakers during the period his ministry successfully delivered the program, which began during the previous fiscal year. The group has recently completed its practical assessments and will take the final written exams in a few weeks. Upon completion of the program, the successful candidates will be placed in jobs within the local construction sector. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. The UK is significantly closer to delivering on the result of the Brexit vote. That's what Theresa May has told MPs. She told the Commons it would give the UK control of borders, laws and money, and also protect business and jobs. The PM is now in a crucial cabinet meeting where she is seeking her senior minister's backing. Iran has executed a currency trader known as the Sultan of Coins for amassing some 2 tons of gold coins. Vahid Malzoumin and another member of his currency trading network received the death penalty for spreading corruption on earth. According to the Iranian Students' news agency, Mr. Mazloumin and associates had hoarded the coins to manipulate prices. And National Guard troops are to arrive in Northern California to help search for more victims of a wildfire that has killed 48 people. Today, about 100 military police will join teams searching what remains of the town of Paradise after the campfire incinerated it. Several victims have filed a lawsuit against an electricity company accused of starting the blaze. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
To the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. Catherine Tyson, I'm sitting in for Sterling this afternoon. And wow, It's gone so fast, the last half hour of the show. And I had so many people this time, and it was just so many guests this time. It's just exciting. Yesterday, I was kind of winging it by myself, but I had lots of calls, which was excellent. So I know you're listening out there, and I really appreciate that as well. Of course, you can always call us for the next half hour, 1-800-534-8255 if you had any thoughts or questions, as well as 925-3261. You can WhatsApp us or email talktoday@candw.ky. So it's, we're actually being streamed live now, so which was very shocking for me yesterday when I came in, because I know the radio is you just come in however you are, and no one, they just hear the beautiful voice and that's great, but apparently not. So I don't know if you guys know, the listening public, you can go on YouTube and look for Radio Cayman, and you can just press on the live stream, and I guess you can see me. I don't know. So I tried to look halfway today, because yesterday I was just like, "What? This is radio. What are you talking about?" So it's quite interesting. So they don't want anybody to block the cameras too. By the way, it's a lot going on in the studio today. Okay. So I got some more guests. Actually, we're talking with the 100 Men That Care a Lot. And it looks like I have 3 of them. So it's 97 of them somewhere else. Hopefully it's more than 97. But yeah, so we have Adam Lambert, Michael Joseph, and Mark Babin, who's social media, and I guess he's doing the Facebook Live now. Is that true?
That's right. We're live on your YouTube and on our Facebook.
The one with the phone, yeah. Okay, great.
My mom's going to be so proud.
Well, welcome, gentlemen, and thank you for joining me this afternoon.
Thank you very much for having us, as always.
All right, so I know we tried to get the 100 in here, but they just couldn't fit.
That's it. Unfortunately, there just isn't enough room, so we represent
far too much carrying.
33 each.
Right. So let's talk about that. Let's talk a little bit about the 100 Men That Care a Lot. You're associated to the 100 Men That Care that just is worldwide at this point, yes?
So 100 people who care, international group. It actually obviously started from the women's group, 100 Women Who Care. There were some of the women from that organization that at some point along the line challenged their husbands and said, I bet you can't find 3 guys who care. And they said, we can find 3 that care a lot.
Okay.
And 100 Men was formed, started, as I remember, the east coast of Canada. One of somebody on island had decided to bring it down. He was familiar with the organization or non-organization in Canada, and a planning team was put together to try to put the first event together, and that was 13 events ago, so 13 hours in total, and to date we've raised $214,100 for Cayman directly.
CI, real money.
Yeah, that's good money. That's good money. Good to say that too. Mm-hmm. Definitely. And what do you do with these funds?
Well, it's a pretty straightforward concept, really, is that 100% of the funds that we raise go directly to the charity of the evening. So the concept is that we meet 4 times a year, every quarter. Each member brings $100 CI, and you sit there and you listen to 3 different charities do their pitch, just a strict 5 minutes each, and then the membership right there and then in the room does a vote, and the recipient receives all 100% of the funds that have been raised. So 100 guys turn up, that's $10,000 CI that goes to that charity. We're particularly proud of the fact that we don't have any expenses at all. We're also very strict about the funds that we raise for the recipient charity have to stay on island. And that makes a big difference. So, I as an individual can go out and give $100 to the Humane Society or the Cancer Society. And that's very welcomed, I'm sure, and they'd be grateful. However, the impact of $10,000 after them doing a 5-minute pitch and the awareness alone that we create, and through social media as well, we're trying to help spread awareness about these different causes. But it's pretty simple. A lot of people have a lot of time and perhaps no money. Some people have a lot of money and no time. This is one of those opportunities where people can step up and participate and have an impact collectively in a very short period of time.
Okay. So how long has this actually been going on then?
We had 2 meetings in 2015, so we started the 3rd and 4th quarter of 2015. So again, we're now in the 4th quarter. Tomorrow is the 2008 Q4 event, so that will represent the 14th meeting.
Okay.
So
wow.
essentially, if you look at it this way, that's 13 hours so far, and we have raised 214,000 CI dollars in 13 hours. Because our meetings are strictly just 1 hour. There's a registration period from 6 until 7, but it really starts 7 o'clock sharp, and we're always done by 8 o'clock.
Okay. And it is, I mean, the attendance has been more than 100 men generally?
It averages, it changes. Of course, our goal is to get as many as possible. I mean, you tell me how many men are there in Cayman? You know, I mean...
More than 100.
And that's why we're here today, get the word out there. There's quite a few, there's several hundred men that are part of the organization. Obviously, people have very, very busy lives. This is based for people that are busy but still decide that they want to do more, that they want to give back, that Cayman is their home, and they want to do their part in order to help the community.
It's all about participating in the community in some way, shape, or form. We have a moral obligation to do something.
Yeah,
whatever
definitely.
it may be, just do something.
So do you have a website or anything that they can go on to check out to get some more information?
100men.ky. We couldn't make it shorter. We could have done 10men.ky, but that would have been too short. So we made it 100men.ky.
Yeah, 100men.ky. That's good.
You can
stuff.
go on before the event. You can register there. There's information, obviously, on the non-organization, but show up. 6 o'clock, the Brooklyn tomorrow night. We just encourage you to show up with $100.
Mr. Adam has been, who you just had on your show just before us, he's been a consistent attendee. And he brings along people. And the idea is that there's no age limits, there's no socioeconomic levels. It's we're all in this together. We've had politicians and we've had newcomers to the island. And we've had long-timers as well. You know, we're all in this together. And I think, like I mentioned before, we have a moral obligation to participate in some. And if this is not your thing, then walk the dogs at the Humane Society. If you got time and you don't have the money, then that's fantastic. That's
Do something.
Do something. Go to the gala or go to the Humane Society, walk the dog, or pick up trash on Earth Day. Whatever it may be, if we all participate in some way, shape, or form. And this is one that we're proud of, and this is one that we're putting a lot of our time into. Okay. But it has a big impact in our community.
What are your charities this year? Do you know?
That remains very top secret.
Okay.
There's a method to this.
There is a method. Yes, when members register and after every event, they're able to select up to 3 charities. So they could select the same one charity that they're passionate about 3 times, or change it between 3 worthy causes. Based on those nominations, 3 are randomly selected, and nobody knows until the night of the event when people show up who those 3 charities are. So last Thursday, the 3 were randomly selected. They were contacted on Thursday night, and they have a captive audience, a microphone, in 5 minutes.
So and a whole bunch of awareness. But I suppose to answer your question another way, the recipients have been in the past Meals on Wheels, Feed Our Future, the CI Cancer Society, Special Needs Foundation. Adam, you're going to bring up the list to make life easier for me.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, you're doing great so far.
All of the usual suspects, again, strictly based on
Cayman
being
Hospice,
local
Special
and registered.
Needs Foundation, Bridge Foundation, Have a Heart, Cayman Islands Cancer Society, Cayman Islands Crisis Center, Cayman Heart Fund, MS Foundation, Cayman, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Feed Our Future, and says stay tuned for the Q4 2018.
Okay. So those are some of the recipients over the years, or the period.
The last 14 or the last 13 events, yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's going to be on which night?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, Thursday.
And at Brooklyn, Cayman Bay.
Brooklyn, Cayman Bay. All right. And for 1 hour.
Well, registration starts at 6. Cayman Distributor Group and the Market Street guys and Matt and Cave and other sponsors are basically there. And the Rubus give a lot of giveaways as well. In fact, your $100 goes a really long way because not only is there the community camaraderie and the friendship, meeting new people, seeing old friends, and et cetera, but you also get a little something back from it. And the most important thing that we get out of it as an individual member, I will say, was I think when we saved a life, I mean, we literally, our funds went towards giving a child a hugely important heart operation, and it saved that child's life. And when you can have that impact on not just an individual person, well, we've saved a human life here, but we also impacted society and that family. But we're also feeding children and clothing children and schools and the elderly and Meals on Wheels, and it's just so nice. And we're coming up to the season to give, right?
Okay,
the giving season.
For sure. The only thing is you give more than once for the year, which is great. That's always been one of the things that I talked about a lot, not just at Christmas time, but all through the year people have needs, and so these charities get to benefit from your efforts or the efforts of all of the men.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we say we recognize that $100 is very difficult for some people, but if you can participate in some way. And $100 over 3 months, it's feasible to try and save up and participate in something like that, because what you get out of it is so special.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Brooklyn tomorrow evening, starting at 6:00, at just an opportunity to also meet other people.
It's a nice cross section of the society as well.
Yeah, and you get to the camaraderie if you don't have anything to do too, right?
Mm-hmm. But it's a Thursday night. It's an opportunity for the guys to get out of the house, maybe.
Yeah,
without getting in trouble.
Yeah,
and doing good.
Doing good. It's pure good.
Yeah.
I'll be back in an hour, honey, sort of thing, right?
Yeah. Have you matched the women yet? I know it started off as kind of a competition.
Well,
I don't think it was. In our mind, it was never going to be a competition.
Yeah, we knew where we stood.
Yeah, and it is such a great organization. And last time we were here, I had talked a little bit about that. There's a lot of great initiatives on island that are driven by incredibly strong and passionate women, and this was an opportunity for the men to organize and try to be organized. We say we're a non-organization, but it was our opportunity in order to say, we have a responsibility to this community as well, and it is up to us that we take charge and we lead by example. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So did you answer the question? Did you?
No, I deferred. Yeah.
I thought you didn't.
Politics for me next. So the 100 women not only did they set a record in Cayman, but their first meeting they set a record internationally. 750 chapters in the world at the time, and they raised $43,000 in 1 hour. 430 amazing women were present at the event to just crush it.
Super
absolutely
impressive.
Crush it. Unbelievable. So they were way ahead of us from day one. So we've done a couple of things back and forth, and obviously there's a lot of similarities between the two fundraising organizations. But at the end of the day, for sure, it's the guys now trying to play catch up.
So
we need your help, guys.
It's your call. It's your call out
this
now.
This is why we're here. Big of you. Yeah, bring 2 friends. Don't. One's not enough.
For sure. We're going to take a quick break, but you'll stay with me as we close the show. 100 men that care a lot. I have 3 of them in here. Mm-hmm. If you want to talk a little bit about something, you have a question or any thoughts, 1-800-534-8255. We'll be back with more Talk Today. Stay tuned.
Congratulations, it's a boy.
During the greatest events of your life, whether or not you have the right health insurance coverage should be the last thing on your mind. That's why at Fidelity Health, we are committed to helping you get matched with the right plan to suit you and your family. We offer a range of plans to suit your budget, plus access to a network of quality care throughout the Caribbean and the USA. You can relax and enjoy life's greatest moments when you are covered with Fidelity Health. Call us today at 949-7822 for a free quote.
A trip to New York City is the experience of a lifetime. Starting this December, Cayman Airways will be offering daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman to New York City. That's right, Cayman Airways is going daily to New York City starting this December. Stroll through Central Park or take in the bright lights of Times Square. Enjoy a Broadway show or visit museums, the Empire State Building, and so much more. Whether you're visiting for business or pleasure, you'll fall in love with New York City. And daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman aboard Cayman Airways starting this December. For details and to book, call Cayman Airways reservations at 949-2311. Contact a travel agent or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Welcome to our Esso service station. How can I help you today, ma'am? $25 in fuel, please.
Sure. I bet I can make you smile, too.
Bet you can't.
Would $5,000 cash make you smile?
Of course. Who wouldn't? But how?
Spend $25 or more in fuel at any of our Esso service stations, and you could be the winner of $5,000 cash. Every week for 5 weeks, one lucky winner will win $5,000 cash. Made you smile, didn't I?
I'm smiling.
Drive into an Esso station today. The Esso brand is a trademark of ExxonMobil Corporation and is used under license.
Cruise tourism is a vital part of Cayman's economy. It is the government's responsibility to create an environment where our people can have an opportunity to grow and prosper today, tomorrow, and into the future. It is a myth that Cayman does not need cruise tourism. It is a fact that cruise passengers spend $200 million per year buying services from small businesses, tour operators, attractions, restaurants, and retail shops. Those funds stay right here, supporting our economy and communities. Support the pairs. Support our tourism.
This coming Thursday at 7 p.m., you can hear another presentation in Radio Cayman's CI Retro Talk Today special program series on Caymanian history, culture, and heritage, and its importance to the Cayman Islands community and its forward sail, future endeavors, and plans. With Remembrance Day and the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I observances this past weekend, the focus will be on Caymanian involvement, sacrifice, and dedication to the defense and preservation of freedom and democracy. This special CI Retro Talk Today presentation is being brought to you by these fine sponsors. Four Winds Esso in West Bay, serving the West Bay community and the wider Cayman Islands community for over 6 decades. The Ministry of Culture, Flowers Bottled Water, the Cooler Bottled Water, and by the Appliance Doctors. CI Retro Talk Today special program presentation on Thursday at 7 p.m. on Radio Cayman.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
And welcome back to Talk Today. Catherine Tyson, I'm sitting in for Sterling this afternoon and talking to 100 men that care a lot. In the studio, I have Adam Lambert, Michael Joseph, and Mark Babin. And we're talking about the event that's coming up tomorrow evening at Camana Bay at the restaurant Brooklyn, I think, right. Yes. And just talking about the 100 men that care that need to come on out and show that they care with $100.
Correct. Just $100 in 1 hour. You can come earlier, involve yourself in some of the networking, meet some new people. More importantly, meet some other people that are passionate about doing more in the community. So you're already there with like-minded people that do want to give back. And that will be awarded to one charity at the end of the evening. Correct.
Right. Okay, so 3 will present to you.
Yeah, and we've part of that was actually in speaking with local charities and asking them really what they preferred. We've obviously had some people comment that it's a shame that 100% it goes to one charity and not divided up amongst them. But in speaking with the charities, one, they're already just extremely excited about having 100+ men in a room or people in a room that they can talk about the great work they're doing, and almost all of them have said that from that awareness they have seen people come back. The other is that if we're giving out $10,000, they'd all said that based on how their budgets are, with obviously $3,300 for each of them would be great, but a lump sum of $10,000 just seems to go much further at one time when you need it. So it is finding a balance. It's finding what and that's where we liked this non-organization and how it was designed to give 100%, and it was based on little time. So as busy people, you still wake up every day, and we've talked about this before, but you wake up every day feeling how lucky you are and how blessed you are. And you say, yes, I'm busy, but this is one of those things that it's 1 hour 4 times a year. And even if it's not that, then you don't have the $100, as Mike said earlier. Go watch some dogs. But there's a lot that we can do, even if you don't have much, to impact positively those that maybe even have less than you.
Okay, so we talked about how it got started because it was a challenge from the spin-off from the 100 Women That Care. You know, we love that competition thing where men think that they can even keep up with us.
No comment.
So that's because we have no comment.
So everybody,
I think you mean no comeback.
There's a woman here, so trust me, one woman can out-talk these three men. Trust me.
Yep.
You know, so there's no competition there. But I know also it must have been something that somebody decided, okay, I'm going to do this. Who decided that? Who came up with this whole thing, and why, really? Not just to kind of match the women, but because of the needs that are out there.
Yeah, James, as far as globally, it was James Stevens, who's not here today, but he happened to be home at Christmas in 14. End of 2014, and his brother was involved in the first 100 Men initiative that started in the East Coast. I remember how excited he was. He came back because he and I had been speaking for a while about doing more and what is our niche? How can we make an impact? What is something that's different? There's so many great charities and there's so many great organizations on this, but this ticked a lot of boxes. And I remember when he told me about it. I'll be totally honest, and hopefully this speaks to some people out there. I said, James, you are clearly passionate about this. I know you're going to be a success at that. I'd be happy to build you a website. And that was 14 meetings ago, and it really to see the impact that even after that first meeting and just trying to help get that first meeting off the ground, I was totally hooked. It was also just seeing that to see at the first meeting was 240 guys showed up, and to see $24,000 go to a recipient charity on the spot with really the amount of time. Not only
Meals on Wheels? Were they the
yeah,
first
Meals on
recipient?
Wheels were the first one,
Ms.
and they
Bueller
said
was
3
wonderful.
months.
Of course.
Beautiful moment.
Do you know how many meals that provided?
Apparently 3 months worth of. She came back, and again the accountability for the charities to come back and tell the men at the preceding event how that money was spent, to see her up there and hear the story about what impact that had. That was it. That for me, that was 13 meetings ago, and obviously after the first one, being as excited about it right at the beginning, there was a couple people that I knew are men that want to do more, and Mike was on the first help with the first meeting. There's a couple other people in the community that you can count on. And
listen, we're just the voices in promoting this at the moment. Mark does the social media, and I'm trying to help as well in that front. But there are different guys that do different things. There are those that help with the charity side of things, some that help with the sponsors, some help with the organizing the security company to come and collect the bag of cash and hold it overnight and hand it over to them the next morning. And it's a village. We're doing this together. We're in it together, and we're all doing it for free.
Of course. And I know you had mentioned also that, throughout the year you see different galas happening and the, $300 a plate type of thing. So this is now, which those are awesome, of course. And
there's a space for all of these fundraisers, absolutely.
Yes, but just to show up and $100. I mean, it's funny because when you think about $100, it sounds like a lot to some people. Mm-hmm. It doesn't sound like a lot to some. But at the end of the day, even those that think it sounds like a lot, you spend $100 really easy.
Super easy.
Especially on
Friday night.
This island. Yeah, exactly. You can go out with a couple of friends, get a couple of drinks, whatever, have a meal, and $100 is gone.
Easy.
Sometimes it's
easy.
That doesn't even, touch what you spend. So to use that to make such an impact and to be a part of this larger whole where everybody's $100 adds up to something that can really, really make an impact, feed a child.
Feed a child.
A hungry child, that's coming to school.
The statistics are super scary, and the things that we learn when we go to these meetings. Not even a meeting, that sounds super formal. It's just a collection of guys getting together and listening to some really real, true, sad stories.
Yeah.
Can you imagine children going into school without any food in their tummies?
Yeah. It's the reality of life, isn't it?
And you can't learn if you don't have your brain's not being fed. And it's a terrible experience. And if you've ever been hungry, You know that feeling, but imagine a child. And if you're a parent, just, it's...
I think it's amazing. I think all of the charities that are working every day just to solve some problem. It is beautiful. And I'm a social worker, so that's my background. So I know what that means when, just community members come out and say, hey, we're going to try to make a difference. We're going to at least do our part.
And Cayman is such a unique, special place that so many people call home, and we can have a positive influence on our own community.
Yes, definitely.
We have to participate in some way. Like I said, I could say it 1,000 more times and more. Just participate in some way, shape or form.
Yeah. Give back.
Protect each other.
Yes.
Look after each other.
So tomorrow night, tell us again.
At the Brooklyn, 6 o'clock. The registration opens. If you're not currently a member, just show up. We'll get you signed up. We'll get you some tickets for the raffle and get you a free drink. And then the meeting starts promptly at 7, and we've never gone over.
Okay.
1 hour.
There you go. Brooklyn.
A whole bunch of free stuff as well.
Really?
Rubus giveaway, gift certificates, free gas.
Oh, that's the raffle stuff?
Just random.
Okay.
They say, whose birthday is it tomorrow? Well, next week.
But the women aren't invited.
No. They have.
Are you trying to get us?
Yeah, I know. This is a dangerous angle.
Don't answer.
Well,
you win.
This
is an opportunity for men to show that they also care,
and we can help.
The women have proven time and time and time again that they care, and
it's
they care
our
enough.
Moment.
And both men aren't entirely useless.
Sounds great. Thank you all so much for joining me.
That was dangerous, Mike.
That was
crazy.
Good. Did you think of that alone?
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you very much.
Team and all the support. So Radio Cayman, you guys have been wonderful in helping us get the voice out there, and you're participating as well. Yep. You are participating as well. This has not cost us. If it costs us something, we can't do it. We don't do it.
Definitely. So thank you all for joining me this afternoon. 100 Men That Care. That will be tomorrow evening. Registration is at 6 o'clock at Brooklyn in Cayman Bay. Just get out there, gentlemen. Make sure that you have your "we're going to beat the women in this game" hat on, and see if you can do it. Yeah, that's your challenge. Also, the Civil Service Association, that general meeting, the AGM, is tomorrow also. You can go to that and then go after, because they're going to be ending very prompt as well. So just go over to Brooklyn. It starts at 7 o'clock, right? Yeah.
That's it.
And meet the other men that care and do your part.
We're in it together.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon. I wish you well. I hope that meeting goes, just incredible. It's successful. And thank you for doing that for our community. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back with more Talk Today tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a good afternoon.
Shaken yet standing firm. This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.